abang boleh. Alaisan. Since the last 2 decades, significant changes have taken place in the education programs, policies, and strategies for students with disabilities in general. Hence, this evidence to promote and enhance access to the general curriculum, particularly for students with hearing impairment and learning disabilities, providing access far beyond physical presence, which means that teachers must ensure that students are actively engaged in learning with the instructional strategies to the learning needs of students with hearing impairment and learning disabilities. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. On behalf of the Training and Consultation Division of SEAMEO SEN, to participants from Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Philippines, Brunei, Indonesia, and Vietnam, Yin Din Ton Rap, Mabuhay, Selamat Datang, and welcome to today's training session entitled Teaching Strategies for Teachers of Students with Hearing Impairments and Learning Disabilities, with 3 of our distinguished speakers from Malaysia, Philippines, and India. First and foremost, on this beautiful Tuesday morning, I would like to share this exciting news and updates with everyone here today. Prior to this, we have received countless amount of great feedback from our alumni requesting for the trainings to be attended by more teachers and that the sessions should be longer than the usual. Therefore, this session with the increased number of participants and with the whole day session from morning to evening with only one purpose to benefit all of our teachers here who have been sacrificing and working so hard for the students with special educational needs. And this time around, we are presenting the first training sessions, which is live broadcasted via YouTube and Facebook. So hello to our Facebook and YouTube viewers. Thank you all for your great support and feedback. My name is Suhaila Muhammad, Program Associate of SEAMEO SEN, and I will be your MC for today. And with me, with the amazing team consists of Head of Training and Consultation Division, Puan Monisha Matsha, Madam Mastura, Madam Harisha, Mr. Ikram, as well as from the Strategic Communication Unit, Mr. Rusnedi, Mr. Ashraf, Ms. Fezni. We would like to say that we are absolutely delighted to have all of you with us. Welcome again, and we hope you will have a great learning experience with SEAMEO SEN for the whole 3 days with the 3 distinguished speakers, Ms. Wilma Lozada di Maisik from the Philippines, Madam Fatimatu Zahra binti Osman from Malaysia, and Madam Nita Gopalakrishnan from India. Welcome, and we are so honored to have all 3 of you here. Ladies and gentlemen, these training sessions would not have been materialized if it had not been for the great support and ideas from our very own Director of SEAMEO SEN, Dr. Hajah Hanani Harun Rasid. Dr. Hanani is extensively passionate about special education, and this topic is very close to her heart. And with that, I am extremely honored to welcome Dr. Hajah Hanani Harun Rasid to deliver her opening remarks. Dr. Hanani, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. Dr. Azizani Mak Jalil, Deputy Director of SEAMEO SEN, SEAMEO SEN Organising Committee, Madam Wilma Lozada di Maisip, Special Education Teacher, Master Teacher 1, Paralang, Pak Ibik at Pak Asa Integrated Special Education Center, Philippines, Madam Fatimatul Zahra binti Osman, Teacher Putrajaya Precinct 18-1, Government Primary School, Malaysia, Madam Nita Gopalakrishnan, Managing Trustee for the Gopalakrishnan Foundation for Deaf, Co-Founder, Uniki and Technical Advisor at Deaf Child Worldwide India, and to all participants from SEAMEO member countries. It is an honor for me to be here today and welcome all of you to this online course, Teaching Strategies for Teachers of Students with Hearing Impairments and Learning Disabilities. Congratulations to all registered participants. I appreciate your incredible dedication for being here to gain knowledge and understanding for achieving the same goal, which is to offer quality education for learners with disabilities. As a regional center for special educational needs, SEAMEO SEN aims to uplift teachers' capacity building by ensuring teachers of learners with disabilities are able to deliver quality educational service. At the same time, promote collaborative efforts among countries, institutions, and non-profit organizations to benefit the persons with disabilities in SEAMEO member countries and beyond. Every special educational needs teacher must be able to devise relevant class instructions based on the student's capability to provide an inclusive learning environment. This effort is to ensure that learners receive optimal learning outcomes from the teaching and learning process. Furthermore, some learners with disabilities also require accommodation and extra support to participate in the class. This time around, SEAMEO SEN aims to provide knowledge and input on effective teaching strategies for students with hearing impairments and learning disabilities. Learners with hearing impairments frequently face challenges in learning, and having learning difficulties has exacerbated the situation. Thus, these learners require intervention in undergoing the learning process in class. Teachers really need to have adequate skills and training to deliver quality educational services and offer support to this special group of learners. Otherwise, they will feel overwhelmed. Moreover, the utilization of assistive devices like hearing loops, personal amplifiers, and alerting devices in class are also essential to support the learners in communicating and participating in the learning session. Hence, teachers need to be able to carry out effective teaching strategies in class so that the students will have a meaningful learning experience and at the same time will facilitate teachers in teaching these special groups of learners. I hope all of you can actively participate in the discussion session to share ideas and suggestions. At the end of the course, I hope all of you will be capable of executing and implementing the best teaching strategies for learners with hearing impairment and learning disabilities. I certainly hope the invited speakers can share their experience and best practices in supporting learners with hearing impairments and learning difficulties. Moreover, I really hope that this course will benefit all educators and equip them with effective teaching approaches and learning materials to support learners with hearing impairments and learning disabilities to thrive academically and socially. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel very honored to have experts with us today. Madam Wilma Lozada Dimaisip, Madam Fatibatul Zahra, and Madam Nita Gopalakrishnan to share their vast knowledge and experience. Thank you so much for your dedication and commitment to ensure this course is a success. All participants are encouraged to ask questions to the speakers, and I believe they are more than happy to answer. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and have a good day. I wish you an enjoyable and productive training course ahead. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Doctor, for your inspiring remarks. I am sure, Doctor, that today's teachers will engage themselves and actively participate, inshallah. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Ahmad Haikal Amir Hamzah, Unit Manager of Strategy and Communication Unit of SEAMEO SEN, to share insights on the introduction of DT module. Please welcome Mr. Ahmad Haikal.
Assalamualaikum and hello educators. My name is Haikal. I am from the Strategic Communication Unit in SEAMEO SEN. Good day, and I'm very glad to be able to share in our session today with the rest all of you, enthusiasts and energetic educators here. As mentioned earlier, now I would like to briefly explain to you about an online learning course, the Disability Inclusive Teaching in Emergency, or in short DTIP. This course is entitled as Responding to Educational Needs of Learners with Disabilities in Emergencies. This online learning course was a joint effort from UNESCO Bangkok, Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization, SEAMEO Secretariat, funded by Global Partnership for Education GPE, and of course SEAMEO SEN as well as the coordinating parties. These self-learning online courses are designed and put in effort to support and give some insights and knowledge to all educators out there, and perhaps could be extended to other parties, such as the school administrators, parents or caregivers, in response to the current education hurdles that we all are facing right now. There are a total 4 modules in this online learning course. They are Module 1, Stress Management and Psychosocial Support, Module 2, Utilizing Different Assistive Technologies, Module 3, Developing an Emergency Response Plans, and Module 4, Continuity of Learning. Now allow me to briefly walk you through on each of the modules. Firstly, the Module 1, Stress Management and Psychosocial Support. This module consists of 4 chapters that are structured to enlighten you on the effective interventions on stress management and strategies to provide psychosocial support to yourself as an educator and of course to your learners with disabilities. From this module, you will also gain competency in tapping others' potentials in assisting families at home, in school, and in the communities around them. Additionally, this module will elaborate on the benefits of these interventions for the well-being of learners with disabilities. Moving on, in Module 2, which is on utilizing different assistive technologies. To begin with, there are a total of 3 chapters in this module. You will learn about different types and functions of assistive technology devices and their benefits to the learners with disabilities. In addition, you will be able to determine the assistive technologies that are appropriate to your learners, as well as how you can modify or adapt those tools to facilitate the learning process of learners with disabilities. Next up, we have Module 3, that is on developing an emergency response plan. This module consists of 3 chapters that will equip you with knowledge and skills related to disaster risk reduction at school. Furthermore, this module will explain on how to mitigate the impacts on learners with disabilities following inclusive principles in emergency planning and response. This module also shares the comprehensive emergency response, emergency standard operating procedures, as well as safety rules which will help to accommodate the needs of learners with disabilities. And in Module 4, which is the final module, will be on the continuity of learning. In this 4-chapter module, you will be able to learn more about the importance of ensuring educational services which are continuously delivered and how a safe and inclusive space can be created. This module also identifies strategies in helping with remote learning transitions, the reopening of schools, apart from the best practices in supporting learners with disabilities as they prepare themselves to go back to school. All in all, we at SEAMEO SEN would strongly encourage all educators to explore further on these modules at your own pace, as we believe that they will empower and help educators in coping with the current situation and challenges. Hopefully, as a result, educators will be able to find the best ways and solutions in delivering educational services that learners with disabilities require. This online learning module is now accessible through website and mobile application called DTeam course and available for public access. Please feel free to visit onlinecourse.seameo.org to browse through contents and materials of the online learning course. You will also be getting a certificate of completion from SEAMEO if you manage to complete the course in due time. So please give it a go, and personally I hope all educators will benefit from this initiative by implementing and translating it back to the community of learners with disabilities. Till then, I wish you all a good session for today and wish you all the best. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmad Haikal. Today, we are joined by 155 participants from Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore, Vietnam, Philippines, and Brunei. Hope everyone is ready for these 3-day training sessions with our distinguished speakers. So let us capture this wonderful moment together with everyone from Training Consultation Division as well as from the Strategic Communication Unit of SEAMEO SEN. So everybody, please turn on your camera. We're going to take some photos. Okay, to all our participants, turn on your camera. Okay, are you ready? All right, let's go. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, second shot. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and last one, freestyle. 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you, everybody. Okay, now I shall move on to the training briefing. Okay, as this briefing is highly significant for all participants, we hope you pay close attention. Firstly, there will be no attendance form. Therefore, participants are required to change their usernames on screen with their full names as registered in the MOE email so that our officers are able to take your attendance. Secondly, you are highly encouraged to engage or ask questions to the speakers in the chat box, but please be reminded to not use simplified words in your notes so that the secretariat and others may understand you better. Certificate of attendance will only be sent to participants who are in full attendance and have completed the participant form and evaluation questions, and the e-certificate will be emailed to you within 14 working days. Certificate of Excellence, on the other hand, will be sent only to participants who submit their action plan report with activities photos related to the course within 2 months after the course ends. And you can carry out your activities either in small or large group. And don't worry, the sample of the action plan and report on education will be shared through your registered email along with the evaluation link at the end of the training session. Notes will be emailed to you at the end of the training session after the third day. However, only participants with full attendance will receive the materials mentioned. And for our viewers on Facebook and YouTube, there will be no certificates given from SEAMEO SEN. Thank you all for your kind attention. Now, moving on, we are delighted and honored to have both of our distinguished speaker for today. The first speaker for today is Miss Wilma Lozada Dimaisit from the Philippines. I am pleased to introduce her, Miss Wilma Lozada Dimaisit. She received her bachelor's degree in civil engineering at Laguna College in San Pablo City and earned her Master of Arts graduate diploma at the Philippine Normal University. She is a registered sign language interpreter in the Philippines, and this is her 30th year of teaching special educational needs for children. She is teaching junior high school for science, maths, and technology and livelihood education. And in addition to that, she has been coaching Boche to children with intellectual disabilities and a proud alumni of SEAMEO SEN 2016. So without further ado, I would like to invite Miss Wilma Dimaisit. Hello, Miss Wilma, mabuhay.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Kumusta?
Salamat.
Kumusta po?
Good morning, Ms. Wilma.
Good morning.
Ma'am.
Is it apakabar?
Apa kabar? Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Kabar
Ah,
baik.
Salam.
Kababay.
Okay, Miss
Terima
Wilma,
kasih.
the floor is yours. Terima kasih.
Thank you very much. It is my pleasure and honor to be part of this 3 days online training. And I am very nervous. This is the first time that I will be talking online. And I cannot see anyone, just Ma'am Suhaila, the beautiful lady. Okay. I will start are all the participants in special education teacher? Can you have a heart reaction if you are a special education teacher? Okay. Thank you. Okay. I hope that this online training will benefit all of us or enhance our knowledge and skills in teaching special education, special children with hearing impairments and disabilities. Okay. Yes. Did you hear me? I really mute my microphone because I want you to feel how to be deaf. It is very hard to be deaf, isn't it? Okay. Thank you again. So I will start now by presenting to you my session for the whole day. I will be discussing about the teaching strategies for the whole day, I think. So please bear with me and allow me to use Codico sometimes. Thank you again. I will share my slides now. Sorry. We practiced it just a while ago. That's why I am not ready to start it. Okay, now, so the title of this online training is Teaching Strategies for Teachers of Students with Hearing Impairment and Learning Disabilities. So this, I hope that we are ready to face both these kinds of students. And even if you already know the different strategies in teaching them, I think this online training will add add to our knowledge in teaching deaf or I think students with hearing impairment and learning disabilities. Okay, so before I start, I will give you the sequence of events of what I am going to discuss with you: the definition of terms, recognizing signs of deafness and hearing loss, degree of hearing loss, common signs of deafness and learning disabilities, communication methods used in education of students with hearing impairments and learning disabilities, and the teaching strategies for students with hearing impairments and learning disabilities. So I will start now for the first session. I think I will be defining terms. Or maybe we already know the different terms used for the student with hearing impairments and learning disabilities, but because I believe that it is the same meaning, and to most of us it is just a name, but to other people, especially the deaf, there are terms that implies a negative meaning, bad, displeasing, and offensive for them. So I will just define different terms. Like I will start with the deaf. Okay, the deaf with a capital D or an uppercase D typically indicates deaf culture and used to describe people who identify as culturally deaf and are actively engaged with the deaf community. And the deaf with an uppercase D refers to a particular group of deaf people who share a language like American Sign Language, but sign language is far from universal. It depends on the different standards exist in different countries. Regional areas have their own specific variations, just like slang or just like our slang or an accent. Okay, I will define also the D with the lowercase d or small letter d. Implies it simply refers to the physical condition of having hearing loss and used to describe a person's audiological ability to hear. Okay, and people who identify as deaf with a small letter d or lowercase d may not necessarily consider themselves part of the deaf culture. And the small d, deaf, often is someone who does not use sign language as their preferred method of communication. So there's a difference. I thought it is just the same, the big letter D, deaf, and the small letter D, deaf. Okay, but in the deaf community, they have different meanings. Okay, the hard of hearing. It usually describes people who have hearing loss ranging from mild to severe, and these individuals have still residual hearing and still have speech, but have difficulty to understand due to an inability to hear their own voice. And I think the difference between the deaf and the hard of hearing lies on the degree of hearing loss that happen or occur. Okay, I will go on. So the hearing impaired. This is common to us. These terms are often used to describe people with any degree of hearing loss, from mild to profound, including those who are deaf and those who are hard of hearing. So many individuals with hearing impairments prefer the term deaf and hard of hearing, okay, because they consider the term to be more positive than the term hearing impaired, which imply deficit or that something is wrong that makes a person less than a whole. So the deaf community prefer to be called deaf and hard of hearing. So forgive me if I sometimes use the deaf and hard of hearing, because in the Philippines we're using it in our school. We're using the deaf and hard of hearing. Okay, the deafened, it is usually refers to a person who become or became deaf as an adult. Okay, but these deafened people faces different challenges than those of a person who became deaf at birth or as a child. So the deafened may use hearing aid to amplify or boost their remaining hearing. So, but remember that when the deaf or you is using hearing aid, this is just to amplify the sounds of the volume, but not increase the clarity of the sound. Okay? Hearing loss, it is the total or partial inability to hear sound. It may be mild, moderate, severe, or profound, and it can affect one ear or two or both ears, okay, and leads to difficulty in hearing conversational speech or loud sounds. Now, deafness, it is a hearing impairment that is so severe that the child is impaired in processing linguistic information through hearing with or without amplification. So deafness is a social diagnosis rather than a technical or medical diagnosis. This is according to some audiologists. And the degree of hearing loss, it is referred to the severity of the hearing loss that the individual experiences. Okay. So because the title of this training is Teaching Strategies for Students with Hearing Impairments and Learning Disabilities, so I will also define learning disabilities. It used to describe a group of disorders that affect how someone learns, such as difficulty in reading, writing, mathematics, listening, and or speaking. So remember, when we enter the world of teaching special children of varying forms, we must know by heart this is very challenging, but in the end it's very rewarding. Okay, so there are appropriate terms and still in use terms in the deaf community. So the deaf community, the deaf and mute and deaf and dumb, it is not used, or they are not using this term because they imply that the deaf individual is broken or inferior, and this term, the term hearing impaired and hearing impairment is still in use but no longer preferred. And remember that the deaf and the hard of hearing people have all the rights to choose whatever they want to be called. And remember that they prefer to be called deaf and hard of hearing because it implies that they consider the term more positive. Okay, but before that, are you still with me? Okay. So there are recognizable signs of deafness and hearing loss. It is possible signs of hearing loss in school-age child. So I think these signs are in inclusive setting because in a school or in a center where most of the students are deaf and hard of hearing, we do not have to look for the signs because they know that they are enrolled in a school with hearing impairment students. Okay, So these are the common signs. They does not follow simple commands or understand simple directions like get your shoes, go to the bathroom, and they have difficulty with oral expression. Since oral expressions is interaction, they will really have a hard time talking always in interacting with their peers. And it is falling behind with the speech and communication skills. And will often have a degree of language delay and cannot understand what you are saying unless they are looking directly at you. So when we are talking to a deaf learners or student with hearing impairment, they are always relying on our expression, most of them. So, and they cannot understand what you are saying unless they are looking directly at you, and will usually exhibit some form of articulation difficulty and show signs of behavioral problems and cannot identify where sounds are coming from and difficulty in attending and listening. So all of these signs are all pertaining to the acquisitions of language and communications. So it is important to keep an eye on the sign out of the signs of deafness and hearing loss in the classroom, particularly in children, in young children, because deafness and hearing loss is invisible because most of the children keep their problems for themselves, or maybe they may not know that they have it. So they also feel their hearing impaired. The students with hearing impairments feel inadequate when drawing attention to their hearing problems. So remember that even a minor unidentified hearing loss may adversely affect the learning process and result in some form of learning difficulty in school. And classwork may suffer if a child with hearing loss is expending or spending extra time trying to taking notes and process that what is being heard all at once. Okay. So the hearing problems of children often go undetected because many believe that the cause of that their problems in school are caused by a lack of concentration or inattention. Okay. So after recognizing the signs of deafness and hearing loss, I will also share with you the different degree of hearing loss. Okay. So the degree of hearing loss, the normal hearing, no perceived hearing loss symptoms, the mild hearing loss, difficulty hearing and understanding quiet, soft conversations, especially situations with a lot of background noise. Example, the canteen, the restaurant, and even the classroom. So moderate hearing loss, difficulty understanding speech, higher volume levels are required for hearing TV and radio. We have to turn up the volume just to hear what's on the television and the radio, what the people on the television and radios saying. And the severe hearing loss, it is a speech that has to be louder than normal, and group conversations are difficult. Severe to profound hearing loss, difficulties with the speech comprehension becomes impossible without amplification. And the profound hearing loss, amplified speech or devices are still difficult or impossible to hear and understand. So understanding hearing loss is more complex than we might imagine. So hearing loss is really just the loss of amplification or the volume, and it's more commonly affect intelligibility and clarity. Okay, I will show you an audiogram. Maybe all of us or some of us are familiar with the audiogram. Can you see the audiogram? So this audiogram with pictures, and these pictures represent the approximate loudness and pitch of the object. And the banana here represents range of conversational speeds. Right? This audiogram. These are the level of or the degree of hearing loss, the profound, severe, moderate, mild, and normal hearing. Okay. Okay. I will show you a video. This is in order to simulate the different levels of hearing loss. I already give you an experience of how is it to be deaf. So this time, this is how it is only a simulation of how, just to demonstrate what a simple conversation could sound like to the hearing impaired individual. So you don't have to touch the volume of your laptop. Okay. I got this video on YouTube and I asked permission to show it to all of you. So don't worry.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Aha! You're on my apartment building on Granite Avenue. You owe me $300. Get it up?
Fred, take it easy. It's only a game.
Wilma, I'm just like them big tycoons. I play to win. Now, Barney, pay up or get out of the game.
That's 1 down and 2 to go. Ready? It's your turn.
I don't have any more money either. You got it all.
Then I'll take a mortgage on your open home. Well, come on, take the dice, will you? Don't just sit there like a dummy.
I will not have you talking that way to our guests. Come on, Barney. I think we'd better go home.
Okay. Okay. After giving you the different signs or the common signs of deafness and hearing loss, I also will give you some common signs of learning disabilities. And these are some of the common signs: problem reading and or writing, problems with math, poor memory, problems paying attention, trouble following directions, problem understanding words or concepts, and trouble telling time, problems staying organized, difficulty staying focused, and being easily distracted. These common signs are also manifested by the student with hearing impairment. Most of the signs, okay? So learning disability are often identified once a child is in school. But these signs alone are not enough to determine that a person has a learning disability. So remember that only a professional can diagnose learning disability. And we are part of it, part of the team that can diagnose the learning disability of a child. And usually the team composed of the psychologist, the special education expert, and speech language pathologist. Okay, so there are common signs of learning disabilities, and there are also common learning disabilities. So the dyslexia, the difficulties with word recognition, spelling, and comprehension. And it's just a reading difficulties. But remember that if a child between ages 3 to 7 and just starting to read, it makes an occasional letter reversal when reading or writing. So like the letter B becomes letter B, and sometimes the word, like example, time, they will spell it T-I-M-E, and the dyslexia people dyslexic will spell it T-I-E-N. But remember that intelligence is not the problem in dyslexia. For students with dyslexia, it is the reading. So remember that some oral deaf students have reading difficulties. And there's difficulties with specific language skills, mainly reading. Okay, the reversal of letter sounds like from to form. Okay, and sometimes the word that you're giving them, they cannot repeat the word that you will be giving them, like pneumonia. And sometimes they also do not remember the names of their friends. Okay. And another one is dyscalculia. It affects the ability to learn arithmetic and mathematics. And they often struggle with key concepts like bigger versus smaller. And they can have a hard time doing basic math problems and more abstract math. So the dysgraphia, it is a learning disability which involves impaired ability to produce legible and automatic letter writing and often numeral writing. So the latter of which may interfere with math. So the difficulties with spelling, poor handwriting, trouble putting thoughts on paper, trouble forming letter shapes, and tight, awkward, or painful grip on pencil are some of the characteristics of students or children with dysgraphia. Okay, since the difficulties with reading, writing, and or math are recognizable problems during the school, and we can only diagnose those learning disabilities during the school time. And these learning disabilities are often manifested by the student with hearing impairments. Okay. Okay, the learning disabilities and deafness sometimes mixed up. So deafness make it harder to overcome learning disabilities, and learning problems make it harder to read or understand what people are saying or signing. And remember that many children who are deaf and have learning disabilities, and many children with learning disabilities have hearing loss. But we need to be careful not to assume that the student has other developmental or intellectual delays. And remember that do not assume that a child's poor academic progress is related to learning disabilities. And if there is any problem in language development or communication, we have to assume first of hearing loss. Then let the child be screened. And through my experience teaching students with hearing impairments, I can say that hearing is connected to learning. And hearing loss, this is my own opinion, that hearing loss is the real cause of behavioral and learning problems. Okay, there are some factors. Why is it complicated to identify student with hearing impairments with suspected learning disability? Because I think the disagreement is that the hearing impairment should not be in the category of learning disability. But I really believe that it should be categorized as learning disability. Okay, these are just my opinion. Okay, and sometimes students with hearing impairments are overdiagnosed with learning disability just because of their language and learning delays. That is according to research to Lasaso. Okay, their language and reading delays are often misinterpreted as a learning disability when they are actually the norm of students with hearing impairments. So due to the different kinds of processing problems, it can be challenging to identify whether or not students with hearing impairments have learning disability just because of their academic delays, especially language, which may be caused by their hearing loss. Okay. So sometimes psychologists also misdiagnose hearing impaired individuals for learning disabilities, or maybe because they cannot communicate with the deaf people or to that patient. Okay. Okay. Are you with me? Are you still with me? Okay. So after giving you the different signs, explaining to you the different hearing loss, learning disabilities. We will now discuss the impacts on student learning of those of these disabilities or impairment. So these are the impact on the student learning. Understanding new concepts, especially language-based, interacting with other students and delayed communication skills, development of vocabulary is slower, sentence structure is simpler than of those without hearing impairment. And they cannot hear quiet speech sound like S, TH, F, T, and K. So therefore they do not use them in their speech. If they still have speech, okay, and can make reading and writing slow and challenging. So I think speech and language skills are the areas of development most severely affected for those with a hearing impairment, particularly for children who are born deaf. And for individuals with mild or moderate hearing loss, the effect is only minimal, especially with early diagnosis and treatment. So, but with children with more profound hearing impairments and deafness, are unable to access auditory feedback and impairing the normal development of speech and language. Okay. So children with hearing impairments and learning disabilities will find it much more difficult than children who have normal hearing to learn vocabulary, grammar, word order, idiomatic expressions, and other aspects of verbal communication. Since the hearing impaired people do not learn the words incidentally. Okay. Hey, Ma'am Suhaila, can we have a break?
Yeah, sure. Yes, we can have
Okay.
a break. Yeah.
Okay. How many minutes, Ma'am?
We can have a break for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Toilet
Please,
break? Okay.
please rest for a while your eyes. Thank you.
Thank you. In the meantime, if you have any questions for Miss Wilma, you may share it here with us in the chat box. Okay, we have here a response from Madam Fatima here. Learning disabilities is being a neurological origin. Learning disabilities is resulting from specific causes such as physical, educational, emotional, or environmental factors. Okay, great sharing, Madam Fatima. Okay, we have a question here. What is the difference between learning disabilities and learning difficulties? Okay, that's a great question. One, Noor Azri. Okay, we shall address it. Miss Wilma, would you like to address the question? What is the difference?
Now?
Yeah, no. Later. Now we're taking a break.
Okay, we're taking a break.
Yeah, we're taking a break. After this, yeah. Okay, that's about it for the chat box. Okay, let me check some feedback from YouTube and Facebook. Okay, Miss Wilma, I'll get back to you.
Yes. Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay. We're back. I forgot to I asked for a break because I wanted to go to the comfort room, but I think I have to start again. So are you still with me? I hope you're still with me. Please bear with me, okay? You can ask questions, but maybe later I will answer those questions. I think maybe Ma'am Suhaila, do I have to answer those questions now or maybe later? Okay. No one is.
Yeah,
so
you may.
yes, no.
Yeah, you may answer. You may answer.
The difference.
Yeah, up to you.
Okay.
Miss Wilma.
I think, well, this is my own opinion, okay? I think the learning disability is those type of learning disability, the dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, and many others. And I think learning difficulties is like in academic, they can, yes, because I think that the learning disability is not the intelligence. Okay, it is just the their difficulty like reading, like in math, but not all, not like the students with intellectual disability. I think that is the difference. Learning disability is have a I think categories like I keep on saying dyslexia, but I think it is, and the learning difficulty is with the student with hearing impairment, student with intellectual disabilities. I think. Yes, thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, it's right. The disabilities are the types. Okay, so you can answer it. Maybe somebody can answer it for me. Because I don't want to answer. If I'm not sure of the answer. Maybe later. So, Ma'am Suhaila, is there any other question that I have to answer right now? You know what? When I have a speakership like this, I really don't entertain question because I forgot that I'm a
Sure,
very
okay.
forgetful person. So
All
maybe
right.
I will answer that later.
Sure, we'll answer it during the
Can
Q&A.
I do
Yeah?
that?
Okay,
Yes,
we answer
yes,
it.
okay.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Sorry, sorry, please.
No problem, no problem.
Thank
Okay,
you.
please go on, yeah.
You don't know, I am very nervous. That's why.
No,
That's
you're
why I
doing
have
great. You're doing great.
that's why I have a código, because sometimes the most important word is the one that I forgot to
No,
tell.
don't be nervous, Miss Wilma. You're doing
Okay.
great. Yeah. All
Thank
right.
you, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I will proceed now. Okay. So after looking for the signs of defining the words, the terms, and also giving the different types of those of special children like with hearing, the degree of hearing loss, and the type of learning disabilities, and the signs of student with hearing loss, and the signs of learning disabilities. Now I will be giving you the communication methods used in education of students with hearing impairments and learning disabilities. So remember that people with hearing or learning disability tend to have more hearing problems than other people. So communication or communicating with the hearing world is usually the main problem encountered by people with hearing impairments and learning disabilities. So, but before we think of the method of or strategies in teaching students with hearing impairment and learning disability, we must first assess the severity of hearing loss. Then that will be the time that we could choose method of communication. But remember that there's no better communication method better than the other, and it really comes down to what worked best for the child and his or her family. Because there are parents who don't want to use sign language, they want to use only oral communication. Okay, so there are three common methods of communication for the hearing impaired, for students with hearing impairment, and sometimes we are using it also for those students with hearing impairment. So remember that the topic is teaching strategies for students with hearing impairment and learning disabilities. I think the title is The Coexisting Disability, that is learning disability. So, but I will focus on the hearing impairment, okay? So the first one is the oral, or the listening and speaking. It is an approach that emphasizes auditory training, articulation, and lip reading. So the key to an oral approach is practice. So most auditory oral approach will usually use lip reading, and they are not using sign language or finger spelling. So this approach teaches a child to use his or her remaining hearing through amplification and the use of speech reading, natural gestures, visual cues to aid the child's understanding of the language. Okay. So not all students with hearing impairments are good lip readers. Okay. Not all, because I think and I believe that lip reading is an innate, or it is a gift. And even if they are a good lip reader, but it is not, it doesn't mean that it is a reflection of a good listener. Okay. So the auditory oral approaches are okay. The auditory oral approaches do not use sign language and finger spelling. So, and remember that being able to lip read might or may be, again, a talent. Okay, this is a talent. This is a gift. Okay, and the aim of this oral approach is to allow students with hearing impairment to develop speech and communication skills that will allow them to communicate and mix with hearing people. So the oral method is strongly advised by hearing people who don't want children to have or to rely on sign language. Maybe because they think that using sign language will make them forget how to talk. Okay. So another one is the manual communication method, or the sign language method. So utilizes a child's ability to communicate through visual stimuli such as finger spelling and sign language. But of course, when we are using sign language, we have to have a facial expression every time we use sign language, because the student with hearing impairment will always rely on our facial expressions, okay? And also our gestures and the body language. Okay, the manual communication or the sign language communication can be used as supplement to teaching for those with reading or learning disabilities. This is a means of social communication with other people if you know how to use sign language. Okay. And sign language will also give access to the deaf people in the community. And the manual method, as I have said, this is sign language method, is based totally on sign language and using the hands or physical ways to communicate. And I think the goal of sign language is to provide way for the deaf people to interact with others without the use of spoken language. And children taught using this method don't need to worry about learning to speak or develop lip reading skills. So this method is considered the natural way the deaf children learn to communicate. And I think it is encouraged as a sense of pride in being deaf. Okay, sign language is, but remember that sign language is universal. It depends on the country. Okay, because there are standards in different countries. And as I have said a while ago, there are regional areas that have their own specific variation. Like in the Philippines, we also use Philippine Sign Language, and we are promoting it. And it is mandated in our country to use Philippine Sign Language. It is just like American Sign Language, but have a variation. Okay. The total communication. It uses variety. The third one is the total communication. It uses variety of methods flexibly. Sign language, speech, hearing, okay, finger spelling, gesture, facial expression, and lip reading. So the idea is to communicate and teach vocabulary and language in any way they works or that works. So the total communication is to provide an easy method of communication between the deaf and others that they are in contact with. So the child is encouraged to use speech and sign language at the same time and use all other cues to help them communicate effectively. So total communication works well to educate the deaf and hard of hearing children. Since it doesn't matter if a child has a mild hearing loss or is profoundly deaf. This method works with the child, the parents, and the educators also, so that everyone can learn and communicate to the best of their ability. But remember that this is you are the one who will decide on what communication method you are going to use, especially for their family. Again, the total communication includes everyone, and the hearing world and the deaf world. The ultimate method of for communication should be chosen, but it is to be chosen on how the child can be empowered and function in the society. So these are the three methods. In our school, we are using the total communication because you don't have to teach the other children with hearing to learn sign language, especially when this is heterogeneity or a mix of hearing students and students with hearing impairments. Or sometimes we do it, we mix our student with intellectual disabilities with the student with hearing impairment. And those children with hearing can communicate well when we are using total communication because they easily pick the sign for the word because the teacher is talking. And I believe that the teachers are using sign language to teach I think to teach or to communicate with concept and not the word. So sometimes most of the teachers I think is using sign language or using or signing only the key sign. We are talking or we're saying the whole sentence, but we're not signing the whole sentence, just the key words or the key signs. Is it correct that we are most of us, but I'm not doing it because I really want my students to learn how to construct a right or good sentence because most of them what they sign is what they write. Okay. So next, there's also for the students with learning disabilities, but again this method because the children or the student with hearing impairment can manifest learning disability. So this is also a type, or these are types that we can also communicate with them in person. The many people with learning disability prefer to the face-to-face and one-to-one communication. Well, of course, the student with hearing impairment will do the same. And in writing, you have to use bigger fonts or bullet points and on the phone. But now the phone is for the student with hearing impairment or with only hearing loss that I believe that they can use the phone. But now because we are in the era of high technology, we are using cell phone. And remember that I will just share the story that the cell phone is made for the hearing impaired people, and I forgot the brand, but they invented the cell phone for the hearing impaired people. Okay, So after this, after giving you the different communication method that can be used to the students or to the student with hearing impairment and learning disabilities. So now it's okay. I think I am talking too fast. Am I talking too fast? Okay. Anyway, because my topic is now on the main topic, I will be discussing on the main topic. So if you want to ask, you can ask question now if you want to, because I think I will be on the teaching strategies now, or I will proceed. Ma'am Suhaila, I will proceed.
Yes, please.
Okay, okay. I will be giving you. Remember that but remember, I forgot to tell you that we have to keep in mind that children have learning disabilities. So the learning process should be interesting and fun. We should make our lesson very interesting and well, should be fun because it will only worsen the disability if the student do not find our lesson interesting and fun. I believe that all the teachers are very creative, and we can make our children understand and be interested in what we are doing or teaching. Okay, now we are going to. I will give you some strategies. Okay, these are suggested strategies. Okay, and it is through my experience and through research. So there are a lot of teaching strategies that the teacher can use for the student with hearing impairments and learning disabilities. And I will be give you some. Okay. There are so many inclusive teaching strategies that can help all learners to learn, but there are some specific strategies that are useful in teaching learners with special education needs. So before one of the important thing that we have to do is the physical aspect of the classroom. And again, some of the strategies that I will be giving you is in inclusive setting wherein there's hearing and there are there are hearing impaired people also. So I believe that the physical aspect of the classroom can influence the way students behave. I keep on moving the slide because I'm not used to Zoom. That's why okay. So for a small classroom, arrange the desk in a semicircle or U shape. Okay. Semicircle. And if arranging the desk in semicircle or in U shape is not possible, the hearing impaired or the hard of hearing people and with learning disabilities might encourage to sit themselves in front and to the side to better see the teacher. So in inclusive setting, if the teacher do not know how to sign, there is an interpreter. There should be an interpreter for them. So we should sit them in front or we should sit them to better see the teacher or the interpreter and the rest of the class. That's why we are using or we are arranging the desk or the chair and the table in a U shape or semicircle. And allow hearing impaired, remember that to allow the student with hearing impairment to sit where they think best, and sitting in front or we should sit them. Remember, especially the lip reader, we have to sit them in front. If they are tall, maybe we could sit them on the side, but still in the front, but on the side. Okay, and the measurement of student to the speaker to the lip reader is I think 1.5 meters or 6 feet. So to better understand or to better see the speaker. or to better understand the context of the words. Okay? Remember, still we have to have our facial expression. It's really very effective when using, when teaching and giving, and because they are relying on our facial expression. Okay. So if ever adjust the lighting in the classroom, because when you standing in front of the light, or standing in front of the light source, put your face in shadow, so making it difficult to speak, read you. The other one, you have to keep unnecessary noise to a minimum and remove distractions. So because noisy environments will cause grief to the learners who are deaf and hard of hearing. So most students with hearing impairments and learning disabilities have greater difficulty understanding speech when there is background noise. Also, we have to try to minimize extraneous noise when talking. So some students with hearing impairments are very sensitive to loud sounds, and they are easily distracted by objects inside and outside the classroom environment. So if ever, we have to consider them also sitting away from the windows or the doors. But still, if it's not possible, we have to put curtain on the windows, and we just have to close the door. Okay. And remember that we are now using overhead projector. Most of us, I think, the overhead projector can be used to display visual images or an outline of the material to be covered. So the teacher is still able to face the classroom while lecturing, and allowing the students to access the information on the overhead, as well as to see the teacher while he is talking or signing. And remember that when you have overhead projector, and I think everybody knows that when we are using overhead projector, we have to stand on the side of the projector so it doesn't block your face. Okay, so these are the classroom aspect, and now I will be giving you the strategies. So these are for the teachers now. Okay. Teaching strategies. Remember that we must keep in mind that students with hearing impairments and learning disabilities are entitled to learn all the things that any other student would learn. So to effectively meet the communication needs of a student with hearing impairment and learning disabilities in the content of education, so this I will give you the different strategies. Again, this is through my experience and some researches. Okay. So the personal delivery, this is us teachers, okay? The speech, okay? Speak clearly and reasonably, a reasonable pace. We have to talk in a natural way. Make sure that you have a person's attention before you start speaking or teaching. Of course, we have to get their attention first before we start teaching. How it is useless when we are talking without them looking at us. Okay? And remember that we always have to have eye contact. And then the visibility, to be able to lip read, the deaf student needs to be able to see our face. And when speaking, remember that we have to make sure that our mouth is not covered in any way to ensure that our face, or our face will not be black, or to whom, and we have to look to the student directly. Yes. Yes.
Adik, kan ada tak jadi ni?
Who's that? Okay. So avoid covering your mouth or face while talking. This make lip read or lip reading difficult. So for the male teachers, we have to keep beards and mustache trimmed. And again, do not cover your mouth with pens. I think we are not doing that. covering it with cigarette. We are not allowed to smoke when we are teaching, I think. So we should not give, or we should not cover our mouth, because they are really relying on the lip reader are relying on the movement of our mouth or our lips. Again. And try to nod too much or speak while writing on the board or walking around. Walking around, as this creates nearly impossible lip reading conditions. Okay? And remember that we have to ensure that that light is on our face and never from behind. As this will leave our face in silhouette. Okay? So we also have the face. Okay, our face. This is our face. We have to try to maintain eye contact. I keep on repeating eye contact, okay? So we have to have eye contact when talking to a deaf student one-to-one. And if ever there is an interpreter inside the classroom, still we are going to talk to look at the deaf we are talking to, not the interpreter. Okay. So the interpreter is only interpreting what we are saying. They will not explain. We are the one to be explaining the lesson. Okay. And try to use, again, we have to try to use expression in our face, and as well as gesture, as this will help to convey the sense of our words to lip reader. And again, we have to talk in a natural gesture. And speak clearly again, and avoid speaking artificially slowly or exaggerating our lips or shouting. Okay, never yell to the deaf student. It is very impolite. And we have to check comprehension and encourage and direct question to the students. If someone doesn't understand what we said, we try to say it in a different way. And repeat as many times as necessary. And if we think that they really do not understand what we are signing or saying, but still we have to keep on trying. And we should never say it doesn't matter. Okay. And the position. That person should be seated. Again, the person should be seated in front or near the teacher. So she will know what is best for him or her. And allow the student to position. Again, we have to allow the student to position themselves so that she or he can lip read you easily. Again, the position in front or side, but still in front, on near the teacher and the interpreter if there is available. Okay, the distractions. Try to keep light reflecting or bright. Okay, this is to the teachers, especially the female teachers. If we are teaching students with hearing impairments and sometimes with the manifestation of learning disability, we should not wear a reddish lipstick. But I'm not encouraging to not to wear anything. It's just that when we are teaching deaf or hard of hearing or students with hearing impairments and learning disabilities, do not put a reddish lipstick. Do not put a very big earrings and too much makeup, and because they will really not focus on our signing or on the word or the lesson we are explaining. They will be looking at us, or we are looking. They will not concentrate. They will focus on your lips, and on the jewelries you are wearing. Because I experienced that, and I'm still experiencing it. Like when like this online training, when I'm watching the online training, I keep on looking on the background, and if I saw the speaker was wearing something, I am not focused on what is she or he is saying. What more with the student with hearing impairments and learning disabilities. Okay, so we are not also, well, we have a uniform in our school. You have also your uniform in the school, but if the uniform or the clothes that we are wearing is have a dots or stripes, we have to. I think we have to wear plain clothes only because it will really distract them, and they will not have the concentration really on our what we are talking. They will really focus on what we are wearing, what is the color of the lipstick, or is it good that is that earring can match, can I use also that kind of earrings? Okay, so for some male teachers, it's not a problem, I think. So again, gaining that is distraction to them, and gaining attention. Again, we have to make our lessons interactive and also fun and interesting. Okay, so we have to be aware that we need to attract our students before we start speaking or before we start teaching. And if if the students are not okay, they are not listening to us, and then they are not in attention to us, we can agree with some signals. Some teachers, well, because I'm a secondary teacher, a junior high school teacher, so this is not a problem to me. But to the beginners or to the elementary, I think you have to agree with the signal, like the blinking of lights or the on and off of the lights, if ever. And also if they are not really trying to to focus on us, we can assign somebody to tap their shoulder politely. Okay, do not touch them with the is with our hands, because they might get startled. Okay. Okay, I think it's that for personal delivery. I will just repeat that teachers should be really a model to our special children. And I believe that we really are very creative, and we should be artistic. We should be actors and actresses when we face these children, especially the hearing impaired and students with learning disability. I think it's for the students with hearing impairments. We really have to take a lot of efforts just to make them understand what we are when what we are teaching, and when we are trying to for them to learn. And it also takes a lot of money. Takes us a lot of money just to make many materials for them to learn. Okay, the presentation, I think it is in teaching now. So when we have the context, before starting a discussion or changing the topic, the subject, let the deaf student or the student with hearing impairments and learning disabilities know the topic to be discussed, or know the subject that we are going to teach. Like in my case, I think the schedule, if we have the schedule of mathematics in the morning, 9 o'clock, and followed by science at 10 o'clock, sometimes we have to introduce the lesson, even if they know already that in 9 o'clock that will be mathematics, because sometimes our lesson in mathematics is not the same, but this lesson is also in computing, like science, or when they are about to convert meters to English to metric system, and sometimes they thought that this is mathematics, and most of the students with hearing impairments thought or know that when we are computing, it is mathematics. So we have to tell them or introduce to them the lesson or the subject that we are going to teach. Okay? And remember that we have to try to include contextual clues whenever talking, because mostly reading is guesswork. And I have read in one of my readings, I read that lip reading, 75% is guesswork only. 25% only is distinguishable, but the 75% they are just guesswork. Okay, the structure. Try to follow a logical structure for your session or for the lesson for our teaching, because because the lip reader will easily follow that. Because if they don't know they do not know the vocabulary that we are going to teach, and they will not cannot, they have difficulty lip reading it if they do not have the visual cues. Okay, are you still with me? Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, thank you again. Thank you, thank you. Okay, for those who do want to ask question again, I will entertain it later. Thank you. Thank you for your cooperation. Okay, so the pace. Try to allow little time or extra time for the deaf student to assimilate the information and respond for before going on to the next stage. Okay, and we have to break the session like this, because the lip reader or the deaf people or the deaf students read for a long period of time. We should not allow them. We should not do this, giving a very long lectures, because they will not pay attention to us. It's very tiring that we are signing, we are talking, and they are all focused to us. Maybe they are just focused and they're looking at us, but they do not understand. They do not understand what we are saying because they are tired. They're already tired. Imagine they are in focus, waiting or looking for the facial expression, looking on the signs. And we teachers, sometimes we are not mindful of them. We're just teaching. I have to finish this lesson. We should not do that. We have to be mindful of the deaf students and also the student with learning disabilities. And yeah, sometimes we have to, again, we have to be mindful, even if even if our principal is asking us, we see that we have a lesson plan. Are you using it also in your class? We have a daily lesson plan, but we are doing it 1 week, and we have to be flexible. We are not just teaching them. Well, we are not just trying to end the lesson for that week, because it's really very tiring. I have sometimes you have to give a training to the, excuse me, sorry, but we have to train our principals also, and also our bosses, that we cannot teach or we cannot follow the lesson that they want us to do. We cannot follow the lesson plan. They should give us the authority to change something, because especially when you're teaching science, when you're teaching social studies, wherein there are a lot of lecture or theories. So please. So sometimes you have to talk to our principals that I cannot finish this. Okay, I cannot finish this because I want the student to learn. So I'm not, well, my concern is my students, not my boss. Oh, sorry. Okay, so yes, thank you. So yeah, that is the pace. Okay, remember that this is very tiring for the deaf students, and it is also very tiring for us, because we are doing a double task. We are signing while we are talking, and when we are thinking of what will be the best word for them to understand this lesson. Okay? Yes. They really go. Oh yes, in other student, the other student in other grade level. My students do not get tantrums because they're already old. and then they're used to it already. But again, especially for those who are still starting or in the preparatory or grade 1 to 3 level, we have to be mindful of them. Okay. Next, we have the okay, use the visual aids. Of course, remember that most of the deaf or most of the students with hearing impairments are visual learners. So we always have to be ready with everything, with all the materials that we can share with them, because it is only useless if you're just talking and signing, and without them understanding what we are saying or signing or teaching. Okay, the vital information, we have to ensure that the student receive important information such as assignment, details, and changes in class time. So assignment, we have to give them, I think we have to back up them with written notes. And also now what we have an online class, we can share it through email with, and not only verbally say or verbally giving information that this is your assignment, because they will not do it, because they're sometimes they're forgetful or they don't want to do it. So we have to give them notes. Okay, write the vital information such as changes in it. Example, if you are teaching mathematics today and tomorrow science, at 10 o'clock it is science, but you are going to change the lesson or the subject on that time. So we have to inform them that we are changing the subject. We are not teaching math at 9 o'clock. So we are going to teach. We are going to teach science 9 o'clock. Again, we have to introduce the subject to them, let them know the schedule, or sometimes we have to everything. We should give them all the information because they will really rely on us. Okay, so they will not be felt left out. Okay, everything. Sometimes it's also when we are talking to a friend and there's somebody or one hearing impaired or student with hearing impairment in the class, and then we are talking. It is our break. But sometimes when somebody or when a hearing impaired is present, we sometimes also sign we are talking, or so that they will not feel left out, or maybe they think we are talking against them. Okay. Okay, the new vocabulary. Okay, so we have to introduce vocabulary. It's very difficult. It's really very difficult because every word that we are going to introduce to them, we have to give them the word, the spelling, the picture, the object. Sometimes not just the word itself. And in one of the readings that I read, it says that hearing impaired students or learners or hearing impaired children needs to be exposed 300 times for that word, over a word, okay? One word, 300 times of exposure for them to become part of for that word to become part of their expressive language. You imagine 300 times of exposure just for them to for that word to be part of their expressive language. It's so long, but we have to be patient in giving or in teaching that vocabulary to them, because it's useless if you are giving many vocabularies, many words, and just the word and just the sign, but they do not know how to use that sign. Okay. And sometimes in the preparatory, I think in grade 1, 2, 3, 4, they have a list of words on the board on the wall, and they will write the word, the sign, the picture, and the spelling of that word in sign language also. Every Okay, yes, picture words 1,000 words. Yes. Okay. we can give, or we can pause, or we can place different words throughout the classroom with picture cues. Okay. So, and we have to introduce a word one at a time. Or I think 2 words, 3 words is enough for a day. Because if you will give them a lot of vocabulary, they will not understand it, and it will not go to their brain, I think. So sometimes the deaf or the student with hearing impairment is very good in signing, but when you ask them to, what is that? What is that sign? Okay, they will sign, they will spell it to me. Okay, they will spell it, and what is that sign for? So they cannot explain. But you will see they are very fast in signing, but when you ask them that, they do not know. They do not know what is that word for. Okay? So reading time, again, and reading time, it's in some of our subjects, like in our country, Filipino. So they have to really have a picture. And also in English, when they are giving stories, they're using picture also for every word. It's very difficult. But I have that. I have that in because I'm making a lot of materials for I will pay I will sell it later. Okay. So write important new words again, write important new words, and in reading time, sometimes it will become interesting if you are going to tell stories with the deaf student, also one of the character, a deaf person will be a character on that story. They will be very interested with that. So again, the boards and flip arts. Oh, we are using boards for some announcement, and we are using it in writing for them to copy, or we are using it for our lecture. But remember that we should not, again, we should not make a long lecture, because they do not, okay, they will not listen to us. They will not listen to us for a long period of time. Okay, the overhead projectors again, we're using the overhead projectors so that the teachers can still talk, and the students can see the teachers while talking. And be mindful that sometimes the overhead projectors have a noise, or have a it is it it makes a noise sound. So we have to eliminate those noise or those sounds. Okay, the videos. Okay, this is one of the important materials that we should have, the videos. And now there are a lot of videos in YouTube. We just have to ask the one who did that video for permission to use it in our class. But sometimes the videos on YouTube is also for sharing. But we have to ask the one who makes that video. But and remember that when using videos, you have to caption it. No. We have to have a subtitle, because not only captioning the video, because most of the live video is, what is that? The live video, the caption of the live video generated using automated speech recognition, and they are not always accurate and cannot be relied upon for access. So, okay. Next, we're finished with the visual aids, and you can also suggest, if you want to, if you also have your own visual aids, you can also suggest what you're using in your class. Okay. Okay, the handouts. Okay, the lectures. Again, be mindful and remember that the students with hearing impairments and learning disabilities will not listen to us for a long period of time. They will just look at us, but they don't uh, uh, making up. They're bluffing us like they understand, but they do not understand, but they don't understand. Okay, so we have to be very creative also. And the handout should not be that long. We can have the handouts and let them read it. Then we have to sign them, and when we are signing it, there are vocabulary words that do not have a sign interpretation. So we have to find a word that is similar to that word for us to sign. But if we cannot sign it, or there's a no available sign interpretation for that word, the best thing that we could do is just finger spell it, then explain. And again, have a visual cues. Okay. Again, we are signing the concept, not the word. Most of us. And remember that if giving them handouts, they have time to read it in their house, in their home, or in the house. Right? And then the next day we can have an interaction with them, with the students. And again, the position. This is the position when we say we have to try to stay in the same place and not to move around while we are talking. Okay. Okay. I think some of these strategies I already shared it to you, but I will still read it for you. So again, study simple, easy. When teaching reading, study simple, easy signs that you can use when talking to students who are deaf or hard of hearing. Okay. Of course, if you are teaching students with hearing impairment, you have to be knowledgeable of the signs. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't mean to say that you have to be that expert in sign language. Okay, we only have to sign some sign language or some words to use in our class in the discussion of the lesson. For those who are teaching the preparatory grade 1, 2, 3, you don't have to be that expert in sign language. But when you want to be one of that to be your one of your that job, then you have to learn sign language. You have to enroll in in for those who are giving sign language lesson. And sign language is now there are so many sign language available in YouTube, and they are free to use. Okay, you can use that and be ready, of course. We have to be ready always of the sign. So before we start teaching, start the lesson. Of course, we have to be ready with the words that we are going to sign. Okay? And again, encourage the class members to learn sign language. But you don't have to encourage them to learn sign language if you are using total communication. And introduce a sign for the week again. Introducing the word, introducing the sign. It is really very important for them because they need in teaching them sign language or the vocabulary. These children with hearing impairment need constant exposure to the language they are learning, especially in the home or also in the school. We have to be ready. We have to again. We have to put that on the wall, labeling the part of the classroom, like the door, the windows. You write the word windows or doors for them to be to, for them to be aware of those words. for there to understand the words that we are using. In the house, you can put it on the fridge, label the fridge or the parts of the house, and sometimes you can use it when posting the words with the sign also. Then try to interact with your child and explain the words to them. So we have to build vocabulary, just as you have with many child who is developing their language fluency. Okay, we have to work the word for conversations. Okay, make every lesson language oriented and have a print. So adjust the environment. Deaf learners need visual environment to thrive. And a helpful activity might be to help your child label items. Again, we have to label items. When labeling, we have pictures, the word, the sign, and we are the one to explain it later. And make sure or give assignments both in written and oral form. Many students with hearing loss need to receive assignments in written form in order to ensure proper understanding of the requirements. And make sure they understand new words and phrases. I already explained it to you, new words, phrases, and communicates clearly. We have to communicate again clearly. And allow some extra moments of oral responses in class discussion. Well, extra time is needed for us, for the children, not to get tired of what we are teaching. And one of one of the strategies that we are using, we are using bodies for them to help us also. So they will relay and rephrase the word we are signing or we are explaining. If the child is a low performing, we have to partner them with a high performing child for because the high performing and child partner with the low performing is very effective, especially in mathematics. We have the peer tutoring, very effective for those. When we explain the lesson and they already understand it and the others do not, let them do the signing because they are more comfortable when the signers are their classmates or their fellow students with hearing impairments. Okay, these are some of examples. I get this in Canva. Okay, this is a hello, the sign for hello. Some of the visual aid is in American Sign Language because I'm more familiar with American Sign Language, but I'm now learning to use Filipino Sign Language. This is an example. These are just example. You have to write the word, then sign, and we are the one to explain it. Also, we have the word, the spelling of the word on it through signs, or the picture of that sign, and we also have to sign. Okay. So mathematical language. The mathematical language this is one of the most difficult things teachers have found with teaching, and a lot of us in teaching mathematics to students with hearing impairments because of the vocabulary used in mathematics. And the students may have difficulty with the structure of language, which makes it difficult to construe meaning from a word problem. And it is understandable that students with hearing impairments and learning disabilities are not going to learn easily as other students of their age. And we should have patience and effective skill of communicating to a higher extent. Okay. So start using math language or we have to allow them to use their fingers and scratch paper, because some teachers do not want their students to use the fingers in counting. But me, I always allow them anything, just to let them compute, or just to have them answer their mathematics. Any mode could be can be are allowed. So you start using math language in problems for an early age, so that the students' understanding of math can become deeply embedded. So introduce a sign for the week again. We have to introduce the word, the sign for that word, and the object for that word, if it is available. Okay, introduce words of mathematics terms that is being used in the four fundamental operations. Okay, when we are teaching mathematics, like the lesson is in addition, we will not just give the symbol for that. And we also have to teach them the word for that, the sign for that. For example, when you are teaching the numbers, numbers, it is it for the beginners. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have to write the symbol, write the word, write the object, then write the finger spelling for that number, then sign, then explain. Okay, we are not just going to sign it, but we have to explain it. Again, symbol, word, objects, the finger spelling, then the sign. Because I experienced it in my student, their high school, when I told them this is the beginning of the class. I reviewed them first with numbers. I told them to write the numbers 1 to 20 in words. You know what? Some of them do not know how to spell the number, the word one. They misspelled it, or the one NOE. There are just three letters, but they do not remember those. So we have to introduce, or we have to provide them with words also. Okay, not only symbols for that, or not only signs. They're really, some of them are very poor in spelling. So just three letters. You imagine just three letters. They cannot spell that number. So again, this is for the teachers to give them the word, not only the symbol for but in mathematics. And also, when we are teaching, again, I will give you an example. Addition, we have to introduce all the words in addition every day. Every day in our class, we have to plus. When you see the word plus, when you see the words add, like that. Or when you see you the word sum, we have to introduce that it is plus, because they only rely on the symbol. But you don't introduce them or give them the different words in addition, they really have problems in solving word problems. Okay, introduce all the words, not all the words just in one day, but we have to introduce it always, every day, every lesson in mathematics. Every time that we teach mathematics, we have to review them, the word that we are using in mathematics, in addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, everything. Okay, and use more than one mode of presentation for concept. Again, we have pictorial, we have visual, we also have verbal and symbolic. And let the student choose their own method of solving problems, and allow them to express their answers in any way they can. Always have a whiteboard and board pen to hand so that they can practice. Okay. So we have to allow them to solve their math the way the way they want it to be solved. You have to allow them to answer on their own way. Okay, so in my teaching of mathematics, in teaching mathematics to my students, I really provide them a whiteboard, a portable whiteboard in answering mathematics. Remember that the students are very, especially the students with hearing impairments, they really easily can pick the sign of their classmates. They will not think of the answer. If they saw that their classmates signed that answer, they will just copy it. So what I do is I give them a portable whiteboard, and they have to they have to write their answer on the whiteboard. Okay, they will write the answer. They will just flash the answer on the whiteboard and show it to the class. No, show it to me, not the class, because sometimes they will really just copy the answer of their classmates. Okay, and again, you have to use visualization. Okay, I think I'm making it again. I'm explaining it again and again, and I hope you are still with me. Do you understand? Are you still with me? Okay, Mom Suhaila, can I again have a break?
Yes, please.
Okay, please, 5-minute break.
Okay,
Thank
5
you.
minutes break. Miss Vilma,
Yes, ma'am.
can you please disable your annotates button
What, ma'am?
so that other participants are not able to annotate on your screen?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank
What
you.
am I going to do?
Okay, you go up to the top. Okay, let
Yes.
Miss Eddie assist you. Okay, at the top there, there's a green button there, right? And then there's view option on your right.
Okay.
Okay, and then there's annotate.
There's a word annotate, ma'am?
So is it you are the one who annotating?
No, I'm not doing anything.
Okay. Then
I'm not doing anything.
you need to disable.
Okay. I'm not making an annotation on my
How do
slide.
you disable? Okay, there's an okay on your top button, right? There's a green
Yes.
color that says you are the green color icon, and then beside it there's a view option.
Wait.
Okay.
I can see it. I can see it, ma'am.
Okay, you may click the annotate.
Okay, I'll click the annotate then.
And then you can click disable. Is there a disable function there?
No disabled function, but I don't have any. I can see it, ma'am. I saw the annotate, but I don't see the
disable.
disabled. Yes, ma'am.
You can't see the disable. Okay,
Yes,
we'll
ma'am.
try on our side. We'll try on our
Okay.
side. All right, no worries.
Thank
Okay,
you.
enjoy your break for 5 minutes.
Hey,
See
ma'am,
you.
I will take a break first. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Foging.
Are you in now? Are you all in now? Ma'am Suhaila, I start again?
Yes, please, Miss Wilma.
So let me continue.
Yeah, please proceed. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So in one of the readings that I read on research that I have read, so the individuals who graduated from high school performing at sixth grade level in math procedures, meaning to say they can only solve mathematics sixth grade level, and that is mathematical procedures, meaning to say the four fundamentals operation, and fifth grade level at problem solving. Okay. So again, this is one of the key in teaching them how to solve problems. We have to teach them to underline keywords and numbers they will need to use. As I have said, we have to introduce all the vocabulary in mathematics. So, for example, this word, the different meaning of that word, like left, can be left the direction, left that you leave something, and the other one is that left is the thing that you forgot. Okay, so you have to, because they know that if you are using left in physical education, they know that it's direction, and you should explain that the left when we are teaching math, it is subtraction, and when you're using left in other subject, then maybe you forgot something. We have to explain everything. So we really have to have a lot of vocabulary in to ourselves for us to explain it to them. So we have to be fast in changing the word for them to understand. Make it a simple word. If it's very complex, we have to change it in a manner that they can easily understand the vocabulary that we are using. Okay, and again, this one is very effective. I already told you that in mathematics we have a peer tutoring or assign a classmate who is high achieving with lower achieving classmates. And I do that in my class. I have a achieving student, and when I explain the lesson or the math any topic in mathematics, I will let him or her teach her classmate or his classmate, and they really they really can understand it easily when they are the ones signing it to their classmate, especially the student with hearing impairments. Okay, so the keyword here is the keyword in teaching mathematics is have a lot of visual cues, have a lot of vocabulary explanation for each word, and have I think it's also a hands-on activity that you're not just going to tell them the tell them a problem without them seeing or touching, or we have a hands-on activity for them to feel. So this is an example of what I do in my no, this is not my subject, but this is very simple ex- example. Okay, I think on sa highlight someone is is annotating this. I'm not the one annotating this. Why is it have a yellow? Anyway, the three. This is the symbol. The three, the word, and this is the picture or no. There's no object here. This is the picture. Then the sign for that word or for this symbol number. Then the sign. We are not we are giving pictures of the sign, but the teachers are the one who will sign it for them. Okay, and if possible, we have to give them the objects for that number. for easy understanding of what we are talking about, of what we are trying to explain. So in a word problem, mathematics, or solving problem mathematics, example, there are children in the classroom, 6 girls and 3 boys. How many children are there? So you can teach them to underline when they saw the word and they saw the question is are there, it means that you have to add. You have to give more example of this word problem, that when they saw the word and are there, how many are there, then that is addition. And James has 3 marbles. Then James gives 2 marbles to Jason. How many marbles that James have left? Now, again, so the word left, we will explain it to them that when you saw a word left in the question, these are just simple word problems, okay? So it's not complicated. So you have to tell them that the word left is subtraction. And also, there are a lot of words in subtraction like decrease or less than, then left. Uh, and in addition, we have the sum, increase, we have positive. And another example, after passing through the house on Main Street, the 5 friends counted how much candy they have. Okay. Bob has 10. So you have to underline when they saw the word together, it means they are going to add again. They will really have to feed them with so many vocabulary in mathematics, and it really works because I have experience in making and participating in mathematics contest. I always make my student win, and they are solving word problems. So the keyword, we have to underline the keyword. Okay. So in science, this is in science. It's the students with hearing impairments, lack of reading comprehensions on vocabulary, and experiential knowledge negatively affects their knowledge of and science skills. So they really struggle. They really struggle to learn science concept because they have not been exposed to the vocabulary of science. You see, science it is a very hard, very difficult subject when you are not that expert in science. So the teacher here should be expert in science. And again, because of the lack of exposure to science vocabulary, and remember that most of the science vocabulary or most of the important words in science do not have a sign interpretation. We always have to finger spell it. So what we have to do is give them a manipulation of objects. And we have to provide them with animated content with simple word lectures. And again, we have to have an additional practice on vocabularies of science. Even if there's no sign interpretation for that, we really have to explain it to them so that they will learn. But again, we have to have hands-on activity. We always do that. Okay, remember that we are not going to use in explaining the concept. We will just finger spell the word and explain it and show a lot of videos and manipulative objects. Okay, so this is my students. Can you see the picture? We have an experiment and I let them feel or have them experience that lesson, that topic. Okay, and I think I'm already done, but I will show you a picture of, I will show you some pictures of my co-teachers. This is how This is how we do it in our school. So we have my co-teachers are using multimedia in explaining the subject of the lesson. These are my co-teachers. And this is me. Another one. This is the U-shaped desk and the semicircle table. And they have a lot of pictures in the bulletin or in the chalkboard or in the bulletin board. Okay. So, okay, the teacher here is showing the symbol, then teaching the sign for that symbol. And this is the peer tutoring and letting them solve on their own. So after teaching reading, math, science, then we are going to have a testing and accommodation. Okay. So again, some of the accommodation here I already explained, like eliminate or reduce distraction environment for exams and quizzes. So always consider alternative assessment when necessary. Okay, individual administration allows the student to take a test in a different environment. Sometimes we change the venue, or sometimes we exchange classroom with other teachers. So we can this accommodation that reduces distractions. We have to allow the students to go on their own pace and may be useful when students need to take breaks or other scheduling. We have to extend time for exam and quizzes. This accommodation for tests that normally have time limits. Remember, when we are giving tests in a regular school, there is time limit. But when we are teaching students with hearing impairments and learning disability, we give them a test one day and one subject a day, so that they will have a rest. And because particularly in reading questions, they sometimes they still rely on us. When we give tests, we have to cite it to them, or for others, we have to read it orally for those with learning disability. So allow short breaks during class or exam. So breaks can include stopping between sections, of course. If you're finished with test one, we have to rest first, or we have to provide longer breaks. I'm giving them a longer break so that us teachers also will have a break. And because test taking can be tiring, again, it's be tiring for many students, but especially it is very tasking to the deaf student or the student with hearing impairments. Okay, it is very tiring for them to have a test for a long period of time. Excuse me. Sometimes you have the via visual modalities. So in reading test, excuse me. So we have to consider the delivery of this instruction or task. Excuse me.
Are you okay, Miss?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, drink some water, drink some water.
Somebody remember.
Yeah, you've been talking, since morning, yeah. Drink some water.
Yes. Thank you, Ma'am Soaila.
Okay.
So again, you have to use simple or direct instructions. We have to change the language used within a task if suitable, and reward the worksheet. Sometimes we reward the worksheet that we are giving, and also the assessment task, so the student can understand it clearly. And I allowed calculator for those who cannot really make it in mathematics. But in allowing them to use the calculator, we have to we have to teach them how to use the calculator, not just not just giving them or allowing them to use it, because there are students who do not know how to use the calculator also. We have to teach them how to use it, because I have an experience in my student in one of my class. She really cannot make it in mathematics, cannot solve just the four fundamental, the basic mathematics. So what I did is I allow her to use the calculator. Okay, okay, but I still, why is it wrong? It is still wrong, and you are using calculator. So what did you do? I asked her, what did you do? This is just addition, okay? For example, 8 plus 3. You have to press the number 8. You have to, then 3. I forgot to tell her to press the symbol plus. So when I told her, so, okay, press equals. Then her answer is 83. How come? How come that the answer is 83? So it is me. I forgot to tell her to press the addition sign. And sometimes also those symbols, they don't understand the symbol. They do not know how to use those symbols. So everything should be taught to them, even if in allowing them to use calculator. And in using calculator also, but I'm allowing, because it's you have to allow them. Some of them will not be engineers, so we have to give them just small numbers, not so big numbers, like 300,000 plus 500. No, I'm giving only a small a small numbers, like the two digits only, 3 digits. Okay. So that is in mathematics. Allow them to use calculator, and but I'm allowing all my students to use calculator only in subject like science, because there are also computations in science, and I am allowing all the students to use the calculator. But in mathematics, I'm only allowing students who cannot process mathematics, or just the basics of mathematics. Okay, and we have to offer alternatives to traditional coursework and methods of evaluation, such as an oral exam or presentation instead of written exam or an essay, and instead of multiple choice and short questions. So in you have to scribes record or write responses to test questions for students who may speak or sign their answers, and written instruction instead of oral instructions. Written instructions instead of oral instructions for completing the test. For example, this accommodation might be needed when a student has mobility issues and speech to text software is not appropriate fit. After the test, the teacher may want to, and after the test, you have to ask them what the problems they encountered in a in answering the test or the question on the test. And we have to ask them also to give us suggestion of how we will improve the testing process in the future. And also when I'm giving an example from, just to let you know that I'm doing it for my students. If I don't give test with a multiple choice answer, because if you in my experience in making or giving test with a multiple question, multiple choice questions, they will not read the questions. If they saw the multiple choice, they will just, if they are used to making encircling the letter, they will just encircle it when they saw multiple choice question. They will not read the directions of the questions, and they will not study anymore, because in my case, I really give review. So before the test, I will give the test question with an answer, because I really don't want them to be exhausted with what we are with the test. So the day before the exam, I give them the test question with an answer. But because it is multiple choice, they will not study anymore. They will just memorize the letters, the answer, the letters for that number. For example, number one is A, the answer is B, C, D, and so I do not do that. I do not do multiple choice. And even in science, I use identification instead of multiple choice, so that they will study and they will read the questions. Okay? So these are the visual aids that we are providing in Para Lang Pag-ibig at Pag-asa. Some of the visual aids we get this on Google. There are a lot of available teaching materials in Google. Okay, but this is teacher made. They have the effort of doing it and making it, compiling it, and giving it to their students. Next. Okay, the visual aid material. These are also visual aid material. Remember that as special education teachers, we have to adjust or modify the curriculum of general education to make it worthy for them. And we have to plan education programs which will be thoroughly individualized. So we are also using IEP, or the individual educational plan, but I will not discuss it here. So I will show you the materials that I'm using in my science subject. This is this is an example of my visual aid in my class, especially now that we are still in online class. So I give the lecture and also the sign for that. And this is an application. I believe that some of you are familiar with this application, the Mimix 3D, wherein the signer or the signing avatar will sign what we are writing. So what I did here is I type all the letters and no spaces in between. Then after typing it with that application, then the signing avatar will sign it. Remember, the purpose of using signing avatar here is to make my lecture fun and interesting to the students with hearing impairments and learning disabilities. I'm not I'm not using the signing avatar to replace the human sign language interpreter or the teacher here. Okay, it is very. I already use this, and having a research for this. But some of these I got the idea from the signing Turk. I show you how. Can you read the sign? There are a lot of figures spelling it because this is science. As I had told you, there are a lot of vocabularies in science that do not have a sign language interpretation. Okay. Let me see. Okay, thank you. So there are comments here that is to the background to white. The application you can change the background and the Mimis 3D. There is there is an option in this application, so you can change the background of the signer and also the color of the no the not the color of the dress but the color of the background. This is another one. Okay. This is my I got the video on YouTube, and also I asked permission from the owner of the video, and this is how it works. Again, I put a signing avatar while the video is running, and I also use here a CapCut. I think most of you know how those application is used.
Brain. How do you remember the way to your friend's house? Why do your eyes blink without you even thinking about it? Where do dreams come from? Your brain is in charge of these things and a lot more. In fact, your brain is the boss of your body. It runs the whole show and controls just about everything you do, even when you're asleep. Not bad for something that looks like a big wrinkly grey sponge and only weighs about 1.3 kilograms. Your brain contains billions of nerve cells called neurons that carry signals to and from different parts of your body through your central nervous system. Your brain triples in weight between birth and adulthood. As it grows, it wrinkles up to fit your skull, which acts like a protective crash helmet. If you could stretch it out, your brain would cover an ironing board. Shock-absorbing liquids fill the spaces between the brain and the skull. When you learn to do something, you create connections between cells and your brains. Next time you do it, the connections are already there, so it's easier. The cerebrum is the main part of your brain. It gets and stores information and controls your movements. The cerebellum is also responsible for thinking, speaking, and performing complicated tasks such as sums. Your cerebellum helps you to balance and move your muscles. You use this bit of your brain when you dance. Whatever else you do, the brain stems make sure your heart and breathing never stop. With all the other things it does, is it any surprise that the brain runs your emotions? Maybe you got the exact toy you wanted for your birthday and you were really happy. Or your friend is sick and you feel really sad. Or your little brother messed up your room and you're really angry. Where do these feelings come from? Your brain, of course. So what can you do for your brain? Plenty. Eat healthy food that contain potassium and calcium, two minerals that are important for the nervous system. Get a lot of playtime or exercise. Wear a helmet when you ride your bike or play other sports that require head protection. Use your brain by doing challenging activities such as puzzles, reading, playing music, making art, or anything else that gives your brain a workout.
Do you like the visual aids? I can teach you how to do this if you don't know how to do this. Did you enjoy the visual aids? Thank you. So, yes, it's really very interesting for them because I asked my students if they want this interpreter, the avatar, and all of them say yes, 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 yes. They don't want me to be the one to interpret it for them. I'm having a research for this. And another one, I will show you another video of this. Yeah. This is for the beginners. Again, you can do your own video. And you can use the avatar. Because some of the video that I have here is I only got this in the YouTube.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Sorry.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Thank you. Okay. Ma'am Suhaila, I think I already done with the discussion of the teaching strategies, but we still have a lot of time, I think.
Yes, we do. It's only
Yes.
11:40 now.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So
would you like to open it for Q&A session?
yes, can we do that now?
Okay, sure.
And maybe I would like the help of Ma'am Fatima, Ma'am Fatima and Ma'am Nita.
Okay, Madam Fatima, you're here.
So
Yes.
what are the questions? Okay. Is it okay that I finish it at this early, Ma'am Suhaila? Or you want me to? Is it okay?
Oh, we have a request from the chat box here
Yes,
asking for is it possible for the video to be shared, video sign language. Looking at the chat box here, they all love the video.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Positive.
I have a lot of this. Is it possible if it can be shared? Okay, can be shared. For now, I'm sorry. I cannot share the video because I'm still because I think I have to tell you that I am going to join a contest. And this is this is the visual aid that I will be sharing to that contest. Maybe there will be a complication for it if I show you this. But maybe I can teach you how to do that. I can teach you. But it's okay. But okay, give me time because I'm joining a contest.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. You can share the video once you have
yes, I can share.
Contest winners have been announced, and
yes.
then you can email us the video.
If I won the contest, then I will share it to you. I will share it to you. And sometimes this is just a joke, okay? I told them that I will be rich. I will become rich for this visual aids. Because it takes a lot of money when I did this.
Yeah, definitely.
But I can share maybe later,
Miss,
okay?
yeah, Miss Wilma.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now we have a Q&A session. Will that be
Yes,
okay?
ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Okay. To all the participants, if you have questions, you may directly ask Miss Wilma. You may turn on your microphone and ask her the questions. To our participants in Zoom, yeah. For our participants in Facebook and YouTube, you may type your questions in the chat box. If you have any questions or if you like to share any suggestions, you may turn on your microphone. Ask the questions directly.
Wait, I can
okay.
teach you how to do it.
Okay, there's a
Some of
question.
you.
Sorry,
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Wilma. Okay, there is a child with special needs in my class, but he doesn't want to do activities with his friends. He prefers to do alone outside the class. How do I get his attention to want to do activities in class? This question is from Iswati. Okay.
You have a
Iswati, if
student
you
who
can,
don't.
yeah, that's a very good question. If you can clarify if the child with special needs is hearing impaired NLD or a different classification, please. Iswati? Miss Iswati? Okay, we wait for her to give us the feedback. In the meantime, okay, earlier question, what is the difference between learning disabilities and learning difficulties?
I think, okay.
And
I will answer it now, ma'am. I think learning disability is a diagnosis.
right.
Yes, and the learning difficulty is something to do with academic. If he or she has difficulty in mathematics or in science, I think that is the difference. Is it right? Because I think it's the diagnosis. The learning disability is the diagnosis,
Okay.
and the learning difficulty are the types are the difficulty in academics. Did I answer it right?
Okay.
Ma'am Fatima, do you have any answer for
Yes,
that?
anything to add, Madam Fatima?
As I mentioned earlier, learning disabilities is something related to neurological, yeah, and learning difficulties is what? Yes, is when when the children is resist or have resistance to educational intervention. That means, or in Malaysia, if I'm not mistaken, we have kelas pemulihan that is for learning difficulties pupils. Okay, and learning disabilities is a lifelong or pervasive. That means that the children do not respond readily to the intensive education intervention. But it differs from learning difficulties children. Did you get me? I'm using a
All right,
difficult
thank
language.
you. Thank you, Madam Fatima. If there's any questions from Facebook or YouTube, please. Okay, looks like we don't have questions from Facebook and YouTube. So,
If you want, if it's still Ma'am Suhaila.
Oh, this okay. Someone here raised her hand. Miss
Okay.
Citra Devi Karishnan.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm Chitra calling, from Malaysia. I'm from primary school. Anyway, Miss Wilma, I just have a questions about lip reading. Of course, now COVID pandemic, we have difficulties to teach our kids, especially speaking skills. Because with wearing masks, we cannot teach them how to pronounce the words. I'm only using the way that I'm showing video is recorded by my own self, but I want to correct students on the spot is very difficult for us. Any alternative to improve their speaking skills during this pandemic?
Okay.
Thank you.
I think lip reading is, you should do it, you should practice it always, so that you can, but remember that lip reading this is not really accurate for others. And as I have told just a while ago, that lip reading is only a guesswork. If you are going to teach them how to lip, it's really very difficult, because it is a talent, or it's innate, or a gift. So what you have to do is just, if you really want to correct them, let's make a practice of it. Make them practice the word that you want them to learn. Okay, ma'am, is it okay?
Thank you.
Practice. Thank you also.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Any more questions? Did you understand what I have explained to you?
Yes,
Maybe. Yes, oh, thank you. I thought you did not understand, because there's no question. There are two. There's just two. You understand, or you did not understand any in my. Okay.
Miss Wilma, sorry, I got another question regarding the
Yes,
sign language. Do you think that sign language for the hearing impairment and learning disabilities, especially autism, is it the sign language is same goes to, hearing impairment and learning disabilities? Is it the same language we use for both autism and hearing impairment? Problems, students. Do you catch my question?
I did not catch. It's choppy. Can you type it on the chat box, please, ma'am?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we have in the chat box here from Ms. Roslina Ahmad. She mentioned here that in her school, teachers wear face shield when they are teaching. Okay. And also Miss Maria Gracia. There's a question here, Miss Rima.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the best strategies or approaches in teaching a student with hearing impairment and at the same time has learning difficulties? Miss Wilma?
Again, ma'am. I'm reading it.
Oh yeah, sure.
In my school, teachers wear face shield when they are teaching. What's the question there, ma'am?
What is the best strategies or approaches?
Okay.
Yeah.
The other one, the first one, the teachers wearing face shield when they are teaching. What is the question? Is that the question?
That's not a question. That is more like
okay.
Insight from.
Okay, but the best strategies for students with hearing impairment at the same time learning difficulties. Again, teachers should be creative. Enough, because as we have said, what do you mean learning difficulties? What is the difficulty in there? It depends on the difficulty of the child. So if they are, if the difficulty there is in academic, so we have to, and with hearing impairments, we have to at the same time. What is the difficulty, ma'am? What or intellectual? Excuse me, ma'am.
According to the chat box here, it says hearing impairment and learning difficulties.
Okay. What is the difficulty? The learning difficulty or the
What is the
the
learning
subject?
difficulties? Okay. Can Miss Maria Gracia answer what learning difficulties is the student facing?
Okay, reading, writing, and mathematics.
Okay.
Okay. If the child with hearing impairments have also learning disability, what the best strategy is, of course, the communication first. We should we should use the total communication in teaching, in communicating with them. And again, in teaching them, we have to have a lot of practice, a lot of explanation, and a lot of visual aids. And in mathematics, if the problem is mathematics, please let them use the calculator. And in writing, again, we have to have a practice of it. And in reading, again, also, you have to practice it through signing and through in any the total communication, I think. It is my opinion, okay? It is the best strategy that I can give you. Okay. Another one? Ma'am Sahila, am I going to read the question? Am I the one who will? Okay.
Yes,
Thank you
please.
also,
You can go ahead.
Gracia.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Those who do not know how to teach student learning disability but having hearing impairment, but no okay, you don't have any experience in sign language. Remember that even if you don't know how to sign, there are sign we thought that we do not know how to sign, but there are natural signs that we are using also, like that they can understand. We can use the natural sign for the meantime. So there are a lot of we thought that this is not sign language, but we are using it in a formal way. Like when you eat, you sign that eat. When you say you can say it's okay, it's also a sign of okay, all right. So there are a lot. There are a lot of natural signs that you can use when you are not yet. You don't know how to. There's no. You have no experience in sign language. Yes, of course. You have
Excuse
to.
me.
Yes.
Excuse me, Madam Vilma. Can I respond to Nur Khairunisa
Yes,
here?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. She asks, can you suggest strategies to teach younger pupils with hearing impairment? Do you have a scheme of work or list of words to introduce the pupils? Okay, for my session tomorrow, I will share the scheme of work and list of words that can be taught to the pupils. Perhaps Madam Nur Khaironisa will join us again tomorrow. Okay, and then the next one is from the next one is from Abdul Halim. And he asks, hi, how to teach students learning disabilities but have hearing impairment, but no experiences in sign language? Okay, for me, it is important for the teachers to teach language to the student. If not, how do we want to deliver our lesson? It means just like Madam Vilma said just now, it can be any type of communication. We can use total communication. There are many natural signs that we can use in the classroom with the pupils. So it's important for teacher to teach the language, the communication with the to the pupils. That is my opinion. I hope it satisfy Abdul Halim here.
Thank you, Ma'am Fatima.
No problem, no problem.
Are there any other questions? I read some questions. a child has learning disabilities and learning difficulties at the same time, how to diagnose it? Okay, we are, as I have said before, we are not just the one to diagnose the learning disability of a child, and we have no right to diagnose it alone. We should also ask for the help of the psychologist and also the speech pathologist. We are there as a team in diagnosing the learning disabilities and learning difficulties of a child. I can see other questions.
Madam Vilma, there is a question. What is the difference between ASL and Philippines Sign Language? I really want to know this one also.
Yes, yes.
This from Madam Ida here.
You know what? They might they might get mad at me, but there are just the variation. There is a variation, but I think this Filipino sign language is patterned in American sign language. Just the variation of the movement of the hands and the fingers. But most of the signs, not most of the signs, but a lot of the signs in Filipino sign language are patterned. I think. Don't get me wrong. I think it's patterned in American Sign Language. But as of now, I'm still using American Sign Language. I'm not that used to Filipino Sign Language yet. Any more questions? Ma'am Fatima, did you see any more questions?
I think there's no more question. Just thanks, madam. Thanks for the response. Thank you in advance for the sharing tomorrow. Thanks, Puan Fatih. He knows my name. We'll take note.
Okay, ma'am. If there's any more question, I will teach you how to use the Mimix D if you want to. Just share it. Just a simple way of using the Mimix D. I will chat that. Okay. If you have the Mimix 3D.
Oh, Mimix 3D. Oh,
yes, Mimix 3D.
This is the application.
Yes,
right?
yes.
All right.
Yes, you have to download that.
Download, yeah.
Download the Mimix 3D. Then after downloading the Mimix 3D, I will show you. Wait for a while.
Yeah,
this is the Mimix 3D. Can you show it? Yes.
Oh, okay. See?
Okay. Yes, Ma'am Sahila. Yes, Ma'am Sahila. Okay, thank you. After this, okay, the Mimix 3D is signing in American Sign Language. Okay. Okay. So what you have to do is just type the word or yes, type the word and remember not to put space. Continuous typing of the words or phrases. Okay? If you already typed the word, then somebody told me that use the option here first. There's option on the left side. I think it's my right side. The left side here. So you can change the color, the setting. There is a setting there. Okay. This is the different background. Okay. Then let's go back. After typing the words or phrases, you can copy it. You can save it. Can you give me an example? Okay. I will write Ma'am Suhaila. is very beautiful. Okay. So, Ma'am Suhaila is very beautiful. And after this, you have to tap the, she's typing it now. Oh, because there's no sign interpretation of your name, madam. She just explained,
It's
very
very
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Then after that, you have to copy it. It is in here again. You copy. Copy, like copy paste.
Uh-huh.
Okay. The copy paste. Then after copying it, there's you have to screen record it. Screen record. You have to, if your cell phone has a screen record, you have to screen record it, then save the photos. Can you follow me? Do you?
Miss Vilma?
Yes.
You can stop sharing. You can stop sharing.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that I think Mr. Eddie can put you on. Okay. So that's better.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Eddie can spotlight you. Okay. Miss Vilma, I think this sounds okay. Good. All right. Okay, Miss Vilma, please proceed.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Oh, so. Okay, again, you type the, you already typed the phrase or a sentence, and it will, the Mimics 3D. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yeah, Miss
Yeah, okay.
Vilma.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, maybe you can type this, maybe we can open the website so everybody can have a clearer.
Yes, I already give the Mimics 3D. Just download the Mimics 3D.
Okay, all right.
If you already download the Mimics 3D, then this will be. Okay, ma'am? You type the phrase. Again, I will show you the how it's signed. Ma'am Suhaila is very beautiful. Okay. Look, because there's no sign interpretation of your name, madam, she will only sign the very beautiful. Yes. Okay. Then after that, you have to copy paste this here, then record the screen. You will use the screen record. Can you see it? Screen record. If you already screen record it, okay, this is the screen record. I touch the screen record. This time. Okay, then just touch the okay, it is recording now. Okay. Then stop. It will go to the photos. It will be saved on the photos. The photos is here. And it's already here. It's okay. Okay.
It is automatically saved in our gallery, isn't it? In our photo gallery.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
It will be saved there.
Ah.
Okay. Then you can save it in your laptop. You just have to Bluetooth this record. Then after recording it, wait for me, I'm downloading the app. Okay. I don't know, mom, if it's compatible with Apple products. I don't. Ah, yes, yes, yes. Yes, it is. Yes, mom, it is. Yes, it can also be. Yes, it's Apple product. Can also. Then after the. Okay. Well, I only have the American Sign Language app. Maybe. Okay. Okay, you're finished now. Researching Mimix 3D. I think you have to look. Most of you are already downloaded this. Okay. So after that, then you have to share it Bluetooth. Bluetooth it with your laptop. I cannot use my laptop because I will use it in the afternoon, so I will not touch my laptop for that. But you will just have to. Are you all ready? Can you Bluetooth it on your laptop? You just have to chat me if you're all ready for the. Okay, thank you. Okay, after you download or you share it on on Bluetooth and it's already saved in your laptop, you can have the you should be ready with your presentation or PowerPoint of your lesson. Then you will just have to insert the video. The the PowerPoint. If you have ready PowerPoint in your laptop or lesson, you just have to type all those sentences or the lectures. Okay. Then you have to insert this video. Okay? I will put this down. Maybe you can share it to us if you already have your own. I have a lot of this. I've made a lot of these visual materials with the Mimi City. There are also other application with the sign language avatar sign interpreter. You just search the Google, and it is free. I already asked the maker of this, and it is free. But some of the signs here are not and there are signs that not available in this application. So, but simple size or simple words or vocabulary can be used here. Still again, you're welcome, sir, ma'am. It will really make your lesson presentation very interesting for the student with hearing impairments and learning disabilities. But again, it's not to replace the human sign language interpreter, please. This is just for them to be. Thank you. Thanks for that. You're welcome. Just to have fun and to make our lesson interesting. Okay, you're finished? No more question? We still have a lot of time. Yes, I have. You're welcome. I think everybody's enjoying this application. Welcome po. Welcome, ma'am. I'm using po because it's a polite word to the Filipinos. Sometimes I use the po here. Okay, you just install the application.
Okay, if there's no more questions. Okay, they love the feedback, Miss Wilma. They
Thank
love
you.
the
Welcome
apps.
po.
Yeah, they love the apps.
But I am making also an app, but it's in the process of one. It's still in the process, so I cannot share it with you because if I finish this application, I will not share it for free. I will let you buy it from me.
Okay. Okay, so Miss Wilma, if there's no more questions,
yes,
or feedback from our participants, I think we can end the session so they have a longer
Yes,
break and come back later for your afternoon session.
Thank
So
you.
to our viewers on Facebook and YouTube, okay, we have come to the end of today's training session of day 1. Okay, so because our live sessions on YouTube and Facebook will only be broadcasted until 1 p.m. Malaysia time. So looks like we are going to end the session earlier today and we'll come back later at 2 for our participants in Zoom, to our dear educators from Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines, and Vietnam, Brunei. Please come back at 2 o'clock Malaysia time and use the Zoom link given to you. Okay. Are any more questions before we end the session for today and come back later? Okay, so a lot of feedback here. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'll see you all later at 2 o'clock Malaysia time. Okay, in Zoom. And to our viewers on Facebook and YouTube, I'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock Malaysia time. You may log in Facebook and YouTube at 9 o'clock. Okay, thank you. And to our
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, Zoom participants, I'll see you later at 2 o'clock Malaysia time.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
See you.
See you. Thank you, Ma'am Sahila. Thank you. Ma'am Shaila, am I going to leave also?
Yes, you may leave, and I'll see you later. But in case you want to come back earlier and have a test on your slide or any sound, you can come back earlier. We'll open the room earlier for you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Hope you understand. You learned a lot from my discussion.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Wilma.
Thank you.